Oh man. I I I don't really have any words. Actually, I have three of them. Fire Joe Barry. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into the channel. Just got done watching that garbage performance by this Packers defense, losing in Week 15 in a kind of must-win game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 34-20. And man, if it wasn't already very apparent that Joe Barry needs to go, it definitely is now. And all of us have been saying this for weeks. You know, this Joe Barry defense, this scheme, the way they defend teams, the way they make quarterbacks look, it's just awful and it needs to end. So in this video, we're going to go over my instant thoughts and reactions of this Week 15 loss, bringing the Packers now to 6-8 and really dwindling their odds to make the playoffs, right? Playoffs, are we even talking about playoffs anymore, right? The Packers back-to-back losses to the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in two very, winnable games that they should have won. But time and time again, the same things are hurting them. All right, so let's start this thing off by talking about the defense, because obviously we have to. I mean, back-to-back weeks, we're making quarterbacks the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Last week, Tommy DeVito came out here and looked great against this Packers defense. This week, they play the Saints and they score 6 points. It's ridiculous. We make these quarterbacks look great. And yes, credit to Baker Mayfield. He did everything he needed to do. You know, he took what was open, which was a lot, and he got it done. So yes, credit to Baker Mayfield. But man, this Packers defense is so poor. Baker finished 20 for 28, very efficient, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, did get sacked 5 times. So the Packers pass rush was pretty good this game, but that defensive backfield and the linebackers was horrible. He finished with a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3. Baker Mayfield had his season high in passing yards in the third quarter. And this is, I think, his second highest career passing yards. Baker Mayfield, right? Like this Tampa Bay team that was, 6-7, and before this game, now 7-7, just made the Packers look like a bottom of the NFL defense. And they are. And at this point, they are. So at this point, I just really hope Matt LaFleur doesn't remain complacent, keeping his friend Joe Barry at defensive coordinator. If I'm the Packers, right, I'd fire him right now. But, maybe it happens tomorrow. But judging by how things happen, with the Green Bay Packers in the past, it probably won't happen. And if it does, it'll be in the offseason, right? The only time it has is when Mike McCarthy got fired in season. And that even was a shock. I don't see it happening again. As well as, the Packers would have to hire from within for the remainder of the season, an interim defensive coordinator. And I really don't know who that would be right now. Going into next season, with the options they have, yeah, we could look into that. But they still have, 3 games remaining, the Panthers, the Vikings, the Bears, and actually still can make the playoffs, which we'll talk about. But right now, we're not talking about the playoffs because what was just put out there is not a playoff team. 100%, and Joe Barry deserves to go. I mean, Baker Mayfield, these wide receivers tore up this defense, and it was everything was wide open. Like every play, every crucial third down, Chris Godwin, wide open, right? This Packers playing soft zone defense over and over and over again. In terms of running, we'll go over that really quickly first. The Packers run defense has been pretty poor all season as well, and the Buccaneers came out wanting to run the football, but then they went, why do this when we can simply just pass it every play and gain first downs like this and this and this and score like this and this and only punt once, right? The Packers only forced the Buccaneers to punt once. And even then, that punter had an amazing punt down inside the 5-yard line. But Rachaad White finished 21 of 89. Still ran well. The Packers still couldn't stop him when it mattered late in that game, right? Not that that would have changed anything. They're still down by 14. But when it mattered, they still couldn't stop him. He averaged 4.2 yards per carry. That's a normalcy for this Packers defense, allowing over 4 yards per carry every single play. Chase Edmonds, 3 for 13, 4.3 yards per carry. The Buccaneers ran for under 100 yards total, 27 for 99 yards, 3.7 average. So overall, yes, the defense looks okay, run defense, on the stat sheet. But man, they didn't need to run. They didn't need to run because the pass was wide open almost every single play. Chris Godwin, 10 catches, 155 yards. Man, this guy was wide open every single third down. We had Devondre Campbell on him. We had Quay Walker on him. I get it. Sometimes schemes, the play calls you have out there, it forces a linebacker to cover a slot wide receiver, but it just keeps happening, and you keep getting beat by it. Jair not playing this game again, Obviously hurts, 6 straight missed game, but when you see how much they want to go to Chris Godwin and how wide open he is, you got to put a man on him. You got to put a cornerback on him. I thought Valentine was playing aggressive well today. Why not throw Valentine on him? Wherever he goes, just throw Valentine on him. Eric Stokes returned. Did matter. David Moore, 2 catches for 68 yards, ex-Packer. Dude just came out of nowhere. I forgot he was even still in the NFL. He scored a touchdown against us on a quick stop route that Devondre Campbell just pretty much watched the ball go by his face, and Devondre Campbell had one of the worst games I've seen from him in probably ever in terms of coverage. This dude just couldn't cover a single thing. They were attacking him all day, and rightfully so, because it worked every single play. David Moore, 2 for 68. Mike Evans, 4 for 57 on the touchdown, right? On that touchdown play to Mike Evans, that seam or skinny post, whatever you want to call it, the Packers did nothing to disguise that they were in cover 3. We had Eric Stokes on the outside leverage, deep third, what he's supposed to do. That's not on Eric Stokes. It was a cover 3 call. He covered the outside leverage, covered that third, right? Then you have a deep safety to help over the top. A post or a seam is supposed to get past to that safety, but they had a backside post as well that Rudy Ford attacked, and then Mike Evans is wide open for a touchdown. The Buccaneers knew exactly what the Packers were running because they did nothing to disguise it. They knew they'd come out in this soft cover 3 zone on, third down, and they knew they had a perfect play call to score a touchdown on. It's just ridiculous. Joe Barry doesn't disguise anything. He doesn't do anything that any other defensive coordinator in the league couldn't do. There's nothing about him that's redeemable. There's nothing about this defense that makes you go, okay, there's a little bit of hope there. There's no aggression. There's no vibes, right? Like nothing works. Rashad White went 2 for 50 and 26 yards on that one touchdown. Cade Otton, 2 for 44. He went up the seam multiple times. For a defense built on not giving up the big play, man, they sure gave up a ton of big plays today. I'm over it. Honestly, guys, I'm over it. Like, I'd rather play aggressive and get beat by a great throw or a great catch and be like, okay, it happens, move on to the next play, rather than just seeing Chris Godwin, one of the top receivers, in the NFL, a great guy, out of the slot, wherever you put him to, be a reception guy, wide open. It's absolutely insane. There was a few positives from this defense today, starting on that defensive line. Kenny Clark, I thought, had a phenomenal day. I think he had 2 sacks. TJ Slayton, I thought, had a great day, made multiple tackles for losses. Enigbare had the strip sack, but that's kind of where it ends. Lucas Van Ness had a sack. It was like the defensive line came to play, and they made plays, even forced a turnover, to get the offense a touchdown, but everything else was just absolutely terrible. All right, so now moving over to the offense for the Packers, and there are some bright notes here, right? Like, this whole video isn't going to be everything negative. A lot of it will be because this defense was negative, but there was bright spots on this offense, and in my opinion, the offense did enough, right? Like, Jordan Love came to play. He really turned it up in the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and dude was on fire in that regard. Yes, he still missed some throws early in this game where that continuance of not setting his feet definitely hurts him. That 4th down on the goal line, first drive, Jaden Reed open for a touchdown, doesn't set his feet, overthrows him. There's a couple other overthrows. There's wide receivers, Wicks and Reed running the same route on a play where Reed kind of like gave up on the ball. So still some issues there. They're, still getting delay of games, which, is their 9th, I believe, this year, 2nd most in the NFL. So that's still a problem. But overall, I think their offense did enough. Yeah, they stalled a couple times, but I thought they did enough. And when your defense allows 34 points and only forces a team to punt once, it's going to be very hard to win that game anyways. But I was still impressed with Jordan Love. It was the bounce back I expected from him. 29 of 39. I mean, in the third quarter, I think he had like 11 straight completions. It was impressive. Finished 29 of 39, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, did get sacked twice, a 111.5 quarterback rating. I thought Jordan Love had a good game, and nothing has changed on my opinions on him moving forward. Now, as for the running game, A.J. Dillon out of this game with a broken thumb. Aaron Jones, they said he's going to be on a pitch count, yet they give him 9 carries in the first drive. It's like, and then basically none after that. 4 carries the rest of the game. It's crazy. Like, this is a constant theme with Aaron Jones. I get it, right? He's coming off injury. You want to have him on a pitch count. But if he's on a pitch count, why are you giving him the ball 9 times in the first drive? I'm fine with it because it worked, but it's like, man, if he's going to play him, because he's your best running back option at that point. He finished 13 of 53, 4.1 average. Pat Taylor had a run for 6 yards. Kenyon Drake had one run where it should have been fumbled, and he somehow held onto that ball. I had no idea how. But the Packers, 17 carries, 60 yards, 3.5 average. it's pretty normal to what we're used to seeing from the Packers. No, never really establishing a great run game. Now, I get it. The pass was working in that third quarter, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep using it. But you still got to establish the run game. They didn't use any jet touch passes, end arounds, or misdirection after doing it, after spamming it against the Giants, so we didn't see any of that this week. Now we got to talk about the wide receivers and tight ends, man. This room is so promising moving forward. The youth of this room and how they're stepping up, rookies, second-year players, whatever it may be, mainly rookies. Today, Tay Wicks, 6 for 97. This guy continues to impress and has a career day today, his best, game as a pro so far, and this is coming off, an injured week. He had an ankle injury, had 2 limited practices, yet comes out here and balls out. Tay Wicks has been awesome so far this year. 6 for 97 today. Tucker Kraft has filled in phenomenally. This might be the end of the third round curse for the Green Bay Packers. We're so used to seeing these third round picks do nothing their first year. Goes back to even Jay Sternberger, the tight end, did nothing his whole career, but nonetheless his first year. Last year, Sean Ryan, third round pick, didn't get a single snap on offense in the regular season. This year has changed because, Luke Musgrave got hurt, lacerated kidney. I was kind of wondering how this is going to look with Tucker Kraft moving into tight end 1 the last 3 weeks, and he's excelled in every realm, receiving, blocking, making plays, getting the ball into this guy's hands. He's at yards after the catch machine, and I'm so excited for the future of this tight end room with both Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave. He finished 4 for 57 and got his second touchdown of his career. Then Jaden Reed, another great game, right? This could be a home run draft class for the offense 2023. We have Jaden Reed, we have Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, Tay Wicks. I mean, that is insane. They could all be hits, which is insane and great for the future of this offense under Jordan Love. Reed finished 6 of 52 and a touchdown, that very impressive touchdown, the toe tap, back right corner of the end zone. Awesome throw in the run by Jordan Love. Those two have been connecting a lot so far. Dobbs finished 3 for 30, kind of on par with what Dobbs does. I was talking about it in my game preview stream. Is this the ceiling for Dobbs, like a wide receiver number 2? I feel like it kind of is, right? Where we see Wicks, Reed, rookie guys where it's like, wow, their ceiling could be way above this, and they could be the main 2 wide receivers in a couple years, right? Christian Watson needs to stay healthy. He can't, stay on the field. Romeo Dobbs kind of sits around that 30 to 50 yards every single game. So in that regards, he is consistent. I'm not hating on Dobbs. He is one of our most consistent guys in terms of being available, consistent hands, strong hands, being able to make a contested catch and route running. But I feel like that kind of is his ceiling, just like a number 2, solid number 2 wide receiver. Malik Heath stepped up, 3 catches, 29 yards, made some impressive catches, especially that low pass on the right side. Jordan Love again extending the play, firing a ball on the run. Nice throw, nice catch. Aaron Jones, 4 for 16. The Packers continue to be a horrible screen running offense. I feel like every time they run screens outside of like a couple tight end screens, like the one Tucker Kraft scored on today, they're really poor on it. Their timing's off, their blocking's off. They miss blocks every single time they run a halfback screen. At this point, they should just scrap it and not use them. Bo Melton got a catch, so he was active today, so he got more snaps than Torrey. Had 1 catch for 7 yards. Ben Sims had a target where it was overthrown by Jordan Love, and Pat Taylor finished with 2 catches for -4 yards, 2 checkdowns that shouldn't have been thrown. Right now, Jordan Love in his first 15 starts, 26 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers in his first 15 starts, 25 touchdowns. It's looking very promising, and I know there's still going to be people, which is insane, saying, Jordan Love isn't it, and he's not the guy for the job, which is still crazy. Like, would you have given up on Aaron Rodgers in the same 15 first starts? Would you have? Probably, and that wouldn't have been the right call. So yeah, right now the Green Bay Packers, it's a tall task for them to even potentially make the playoffs. I think they're at a 28% right now. The Falcons losing to the Panthers actually bumped that up a little bit, and actually I think the Browns are about to beat the Bears. Let me refresh this. The Browns did just beat the Bears, as I just checked, so that helps the Packers a little bit as well. It's going to be a big game tomorrow. Eagles hopefully beating the Seahawks. That'll help them as well. But right now they're sitting at like 28%. But if they win out, that jumps up to like 96%. And if the Eagles beat the Seahawks tomorrow, then it's at like greater than 99%. So depending on that game tomorrow, the Packers may still control their own destiny going forward. But at this point, it's like you just lost to the Giants and the Buccaneers. Are you going to go 3-0 the rest of the season? It's unlikely based off of what we're seeing right now and what this defense is putting out there. Like, are we going to make Bryce Young the NFC Offensive Player of the Week next week? Like, That's not a joke, because that very well may happen. Then you go against the Vikings and Nick Mullins. Are we going to make Nick Mullins look like the greatest thing? And then after that, we have the Bears. Are we going to make Justin Fields look like Walter Payton running the football? It's crazy to think that, the Packers still have a chance to make the playoffs, but, should we even be talking about that right now? But that about does it for this video. A lot of ranting going on, so I apologize for that, but I feel like we all kind of feel like that right now. We're just fed up. We're tired of the same old defense over and over and over again, hurting this Packers football team, when other things on around the team, the offense, love these receivers, have so much promise, and then the just same thing happens over and over again. They're brought back down by this horrible defense. But I appreciate you guys coming by. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like down below. It supports my channel a ton. But I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.